Doug, there is a fucking petting zoo at the end of the wine tram. So I text you when we were out in South Africa because it is impossible to get quality information from any decent website about which wine tram in Franschhoek Line you should go on, and there are 5. Okay, so if you are if you're someone that enjoys wine but you don't know enough to understand what those wine farms are about, you just want to go to a source and go and say, this is the best if you're starting at 12 p.m. This is the best if you just want to absolutely get sozzled on white wine. This is the best if you want the food, or this is the best after 6 hours and you've been drinking wine. You want to go and meet a goat, or you want to go and meet a pig. And what's incredible about this pig is his name is Picasso, right? And they put paint on his nose, and then he draws on a canvas. And I'm just so excited about this that I bought Lindsay a little Picasso of the artwork he created at the beginning of 2023, and they stitched it on a little pig, and I bought him this pig, and I met a cow. Look at this cow, and these, I spent, and I was drunk. I was just like, hello, cow. I've never been so friendly with a cow. I just literally had my hand in its ear. It was amazing. But I didn't even know that this existed. So I went to all this lovely stuff, had some great lunch, all the rest of it. Lindsay's like, there's a petting zoo at this stop. And I'm like, off we get. We're getting off. We're in. We're deep. And we were there for an hour. And everybody who was in there was drunk. Everybody who was in there was chasing chickens and all sorts of stuff. It was just gold. Sorry, I'm very excited about Picasso, the wine wasn't very good, mind.
What I want to do now. So let's bring this back to business. I love it. So you said, rightly so. You said to me, Doug, have a look in Ahrefs, which is my SEO traffic tool, and you said, have a look for Franschhoek wine tram UK searches.
Yeah,
it's fucking massive. It's 1,800 a month, very low competition, and as you said, it's got a shit quality content. So
it's not specific enough. It's all generic. It's all like, go to this line, go to that line. But there's no meat on the bones of the information you're getting. And I spent 2 hours looking at all of these lines, and only 3 were open the day we were there because it's winter. And I was just like, guy, what do we want to do? Dieudonné's got a great view. They have that barbecue place. Okay, we've got that. This one over here is really famous for Pierre Jourdan, who's a really famous winemaker. But that's the same view as where we're staying. What do we want to do? No information. Just generic crap. Build it. Make it happen.
Yeah, so we're already sort of 12 articles in our SA travel site. And what I'm going to do on the basis of this conversation, we've got somebody who's exceptional at creating the content, the pictures and the videos and the information. This guy, Damien, he's about to spend 4 weeks on a wine tram going through every stop. Do you think he'll get through it? Like, if he has to drink the wine?
So like I say, I think there must be around 20 wine farms. The thing is about it, you don't have to have a tasting. You can just go and be in the grounds. So he doesn't have to go and... I mean, I would recommend before he gets to Picasso that he stops at a few. Wouldn't stop at Chamonix. Chamonix was disappointing, very dark, just not very good. So even I know what it is. This is the stuff that people need to know. It's crazy.
You should do
he should definitely do
interview with you.
Yeah, and I only did the pink line, and I did the purple line and the orange line in 2019. Totally different experiences. And it's just straightforward. It's like, bang, this is what this is good for, this is what this is good for. But yeah, send him up there for a week. He's going to have the best week ever. And just do a different line each day, Monday through Friday.
So, I'm AI today. I know you think, and Ben thinks, that I'm just side hustles, people businesses, just gritty, attritional stuff. But today I've got AI for you. So there's a company called Cognia, which is football. It's sort of AI tactical insights for football. And what they do is you can basically get all this game footage, and you can ask it stuff like, you can go, caught in the Premier League last season. Can you just show me, pull out all the instances of when the defensive line got unbalanced? And it just goes, do. Here's all your data for you to start making your decisions. And it was started by a guy who used to be a coach at Barcelona. Barcelona use it. Aston Villa use it. A few teams across Europe use the platform. And they reckon it saves, listen to this. I don't know if this is true. If this is true, it's extraordinary. Creating game data for Insight used to take 300 hours per game. They reckon that's down with this, same outcome, 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that's classic AI productivity right there, isn't it? Because it's able to process and analyze it. That's amazing. 300 hours. Imagine how long that took for like all of those stats that powered Moneyball.
Yeah.
And all of that back in the day. Incredible. What a cool business. I wish we had invented it.
So Cognia is a great business. Anyway, that's not what I really want to talk about today. I sort of that pushed me into AI a little bit further. And I was thinking about cool. How does that relate to business? And I've always felt like, sales training, AI sales training is going to be huge. So I had a look at the market, I had a look at the products there, and I kind of played around with a few. So I played around with one called Second Nature AI, which is an Israeli company. They've had like 12.5 million. I think they've just been through a Series A. And what it is you do a sales call with an AI bot. Like you go into a Zoom call and the AI is there and you do your sales call. So I had a go at their demo.
Wild. Oh god, it uses deep fakes. It uses synthetic humans.
Yeah, it uses synthetic humans, deep fakes. So the problem with it is, its fundamental problem is that it's not very lifelike. It just doesn't feel very much like a sales call. The objections, the questions, the dynamic of the call is not, and I've done a shitload of cold calling, it's just not the same. But I think it's a valuable concept. The way that I think that this business works, right, instead of having that, which is, you go on, right, and you just put in industry, what their current issue is, what you sell, and then it creates the scenario. Way better to do it for a specific industry, say like insurance, and just build the AI model, but really drive it for that industry. So it's all the issues you get when you're trying to sell insurance. And then I think it can be good.
You can definitely train the LLM for sure. You can train the LLM to be very specific and make it become incredibly intelligent, if you will.
And I just think they're not good. They're just not good enough now, are they, Rich? To like go, oh, we're going to train you for selling anything. They're just not. It's just not sophisticated enough. And what Nick Solly at Mahara was saying was, when I spoke to him about this, he was like, it's going to be the very specific AI tools that really help people specifically in their jobs. So like, think, a very specific AI tool for designers rather than the more, a general copywriting AI or a design AI. It's going to be these really specific ones, which makes perfect sense. Like when any technology comes out, it starts broad and then you just kind of niche down. I think it's going to be the same for these kind of sales, AI sims.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think because if you can, I was reading a thing the other day about niche, lean as a concept. Right, so IED, you go into a niche, but then you really go with inside of that niche. So say, imagine if you did healthcare, okay, but within healthcare, you might want to go and do, prescriptions. And within inside of prescriptions, you can go so deep that you could actually train an AI to be so advanced at understanding what the prompts are or what people are actually bringing into that system that it can actually be trained to return a meaningful response or have a meaningful kind of interaction. So I think there is something around. Absolutely, there is niche. It needs to be niche because how big can that model be? To really take in something that's around football compared to something that's around automotive. So I think niche, and then in terms of the lean, that's kind of irrelevant. That's a startup thing about building a business. But I think I agree with you. I think if you could build out models that are very very focused on a particular problem or a challenge or an industry or a sub industry, this stuff is going to be super super powerful. I mean, we're seeing that in the healthcare stuff in the US, where we're doing things around after visit summaries and care. So what happens after you've had your operation? How do you actually go and communicate with your hospital or your doctor? And even that is quite broad, and that can be broken down into many, many things. So yeah, I think people have just got to start to become really laser focused on what they think it could be used for, because it's the technology is beginning to is there. Now the models need to be built out. They need to be trained in a certain way with people who understand how to do that. And yeah, it's going to be a super powerful tool. We will get to the point where we won't recognise if it's an AI or a human over certain interaction. Like, I've always wondered whether we should have, I mean, we talked about this a while back and it never made the pod because it was a pretty boring, basic idea. But even the rudimentary stuff like phoning your bank or phoning Vodafone or doing that kind of stuff, that is just going to be conversational. It's not none of this press this anymore. It's going to be conversational. But that's a niche trained model, isn't it? Let's understand everything about Vodafone, everything about your account. Let's pull that data together. That is controlled. And I think that it's the control element that is also key.
Yeah, because I just think people are trying to look too broadly with these tools. And they're focused on what, in my opinion, is that people are focused on the technology. So they're looking at what AI can do.
So the application.
Yeah, but they're not focused on the users and what the users need. So somebody's going, cool, in content writing, which I know the most about, people are looking at cool AI, what the AI can do, but they're not considering that the content looks completely different across all of these different industries and, what the end user wants to read. And I think it's the same with this second nature AI. Like, if I'm running a sales team in an insurance company and I try that demo in second nature, like, it just kind of seems like a joke. And it doesn't mean the technology is not good. Like, the technology is obviously amazing. It does sort of feel like you're on a call, but it's just not going to help me in my day to day. So second nature AI, what they need to do, they need to find an initial use case. And this is just the same advice that you would just give SaaS founders, but it almost seems people have forgotten it. We're now in AI and everyone's like, oh, AI is going to solve everything. But what they need to do is they need to just go back to the basic business principle that's always been the same, which is, what does that end user need? The head of the insurance call center with 500 agents who are shit and who are churning and can't sell fucking anything, they need a training. They want people that can sell shit and that aren't going to leave and that are somewhat motivated. And the training's a part of that. And that training needs to be laser focused on not only giving them a realistic experience, but feeding back on who's good and who's bad and what they can do better. The AI can do that, but only, like you say, if it is specifically built in that way to help that guy. So second nature AI, go and fucking find a use case, sell a load to them because you've obviously got the tech, and then just build out industry by industry, because I just think there's going to be all these people that have launched this tech and they're so early, they've just focused not on the customer.
Yeah. Have you ever seen I don't know whether second nature AI use them, but Synthesia is a company we've played around with, and they are solely, well, they came to market as like a mass market commoditized training video company. So you choose your avatar. There's 48 different human beings. You type in what you want it to do and you create your video, and this person talks to you. It's got gestures. It's got everything. And so you can create these training materials that are not, a PDF, or not, you don't have to spend a fortune creating all the video studio stuff. So there's loads of people who are doing it, but I think the backwards and forwards is what, the conversational aspect of what second nature are doing is quite interesting, because the model's got to process exactly what it's receiving and then be able to process that, think about it, process it, and then push it back out. That intelligence of the nuances of a conversation just isn't there yet. It's impressive, but it isn't there yet. So I completely agree with you. But it's kind of exciting though, right? It's wild what's gone on in the last year with this stuff. I mean, we used to have chatbot in a little window down the right hand side 2 years ago that was totally fucking useless and wouldn't work, and now we're talking to a deep fake avatar. I think it's amazing progress, and I think the next couple of years will be incredible. But I'm a technologist, I get excited about this shit. You're probably just like, fuck no.
No, I'm definitely on board with it. What I'm not on board with is people focusing on the technology, whereas they need to focus on the customer.
The use case. Is there a problem? Changed. Is there an opportunity? Yeah, and there shouldn't be, right? That's the backbone of how you start a company. If there is no market for your product, do not build that product. Do you know what's going to be really funny? And this is total segue away from what we're going to call this video. I was thinking about it the other day, and I chatted through with Nick briefly when we were in South Africa together. Content creation using ChatGPT is pulling from information that's out on the internet, right? It's pulling from that library of the internet up until like 2021. There is a prediction that in the next 8 years, 96% of content will be written by an AI online. All right? If 96% of the content is written by an AI online, and that AI is calling on information online to write its copy, surely the model is going to collapse, because an AI is learning from an AI, is learning from an AI, is learning from an AI. Therefore, the content is just going to standardize. Maybe. I mean, I understand AI and I understand these LLM models, but I'm just thinking, God, in 10 years' time, what kind of content are we going to be reading? If it's all computer generated. I mean, I know they're going to have ways to look at that and systematize it, but or counteract that. But fascinating. Sorry, huge segue. Been bothering me.
No, you're completely right. An example of that is, we have this travel site and we're just trying to work out how to make the content.
Did you do the wine tram? Did you do that yet?
Not yet, but we are going to do it.
Great idea, that.
Yeah, exactly. What we could, just for anyone that doesn't know, we're building a content site for traveling in South Africa. Rich and I have just been to South Africa. Content shit. There's no useful stuff. So he's just been feeding me some ideas, which have been great. But anyway, so yeah. What's interesting is you can go to. We're doing reviews of wine farms, and you go to the wine farm, and actually creating content about wine farms is way harder than you think, right? So you have to decide what people are going to care about. You have to take, pictures, videos, find human stories. And what AI can't do really is structure. It can't go and get that information. What it will be able to do pretty soon is take all of the information. Like what you could do, you could go to a wine farm, take an audio recording, take a camera, and you just walk around and talk into that audio, take pictures, take a video, and then just dump that in a file. And you've already got your model of how you want an article to look, what things you want to talk about, the tone, how you bring in the pictures. If you've got the raw data and you've got the model, AI today can create that. So in our business, for example, we are working on that model, and we're also working on getting the information. So yes, AI will have written 96% of the content, but it probably won't have gone and done the work in terms of how we're going to write it, and also like the raw data. Those kind of that prompt infrastructure still going to be pretty important. Having said that, in 10 years, it will be able to do all of that. Although I don't think it's getting the raw material.
Yeah, I'm giving you an outro. Doug wants to have a glass of wine with an AI. If you'd like to facilitate that, we need some funding and some viewers. So if you'd like to like and subscribe so Doug can have a glass of wine with one of those synthetic avatars and film it. Maybe we could do a film of you doing that, Doug. You're on a little kind of speed date with an AI avatar with a glass of wine. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.